Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 8 of Chuckle Sluts, the number one place on the internet where you come for the sluts and stay for the chuckles. My name is Samuel Locke.
I'm Shannon Brunetti.
I'm Zach Clapperidge.
And with us today, we have a special guest. Blake Robert Ward, actor, writer, producer, everything dude extraordinaire, joining us here on the show today. He's been a long-time writing partner for me and, writing things together. And he's been my oldest collaborator to this point. So it's only natural that we have him on the show to talk about all the things he's doing and by extension we're doing. And yeah, he's going to hang out with us for a bit. And of course,
what up, everybody?
And of course, naturally, we start off with the show the way we always do with the World Dough. And we're going to start off with Zach on this one. Zach, what do you got for us?
All right. Usually I do some weird ass alien shit because I'm a fucking weirdo. But I am going to do something a little more serious. There is currently like this weird public outcry about the PlayStation 5 because people have dug into the user agreements and found that they have gotten like in deep with a lot of the Hong Kong and China problems going on right now. And there's now a clause in the PlayStation agreement that says, if you are online and say anything derogatory towards China, like the honor of China, anything about freedoms of people, anything about that, you can be banned online.
Boo!
It is in the user agreement. And so people are like freaking out.
Fucking boo!
I just want to fucking play God of War. Don't want to use it as a political platform, but I do get it. Like I get the rage, and I don't really understand why they'd have to do that. I mean, I understand like most of the parts probably come from China, therefore there's probably like technical trade agreements.
That sucks so bad because
like
I'm a PlayStation loyalist. Like I've been a PlayStation guy since the first.
Xbox,
you Halo kid.
PC Master Race.
Get out of here.
PC Master Race.
I mean, okay.
Built my first build, so I got all my stuff over there. I'm gonna put it off the side, but I just built my first PC this past week. I'm stoked on it, so it's awesome.
But yeah, before I became a PC Master Race kind of guy, I was a PlayStation guy, and I actually strongly considered getting the PS5, but I hate censorship more than I hate cupcakes. So
it's super frustrating.
It's that serious.
Throwback.
I still am gonna get one. I can't. That's the only thing I play, and I'm too poor to buy a good computer. But that's just such fuckery, and I don't. It's so frustrating, and I'm sure most people would just gone under the radar forever, and it probably won't actually affect a lot of people.
Dude, there's always some weird, wonky, nerdy kid who's like, I'm going to read the terms of service and see what's in here. Like, there's only this one guy to do the job. So whoever that one person was, thank you, you nerdy fuck. I needed to know these things.
Now I'm nervous that they're going to, like, cancel my pre-order. Because now I've spread the word. Sony's going to get word of this, and I'm not going to get my PlayStation. I'm going to be so mad.
Strike him from the list.
So, Zach said shit about China way before. Is he still qualified? No? The user term agreement happens as soon as he orders? Okay.
I'm on the record now.
Yes, off.
What about you, Shannon? What do you got in the world?
All right. So I actually have something that's like a little bit hopeful. So, Ikea. I don't really like Ikea because I get lost in there and I'm claustrophobic and there's children screaming and everything. And I just like the walls close in and I can't deal with it. But they're doing something really cool. They're accepting a lot of used furniture to be recycled in prep for Black Friday. They want to reduce the waste and want their customers to kind of learn more about the whole recycling process before, the massive capitalistic splurge-a-thon that is Black Friday. So I thought that was really cool. They're doing mostly plush, so more like hardwood furniture and things like that. But they're welcoming a lot of recycled furniture and things to help the environment. Yeah.
Super cool.
They
need to do something good because besides that, they just destroy relationships all over the world. I can't go into Ikea with Katie. Like a force comes over me and I'm possessed by an evil monster and I get in fights constantly.
I just can't go in there because it terrifies me. I think it's like Five Nights at Freddy's, only it's like a whole afternoon at Ikea. Like I'm terrified that the like little Swedish monsters are gonna peek out around the corner and kill me. I don't know what it is.
Not to mention the 2-hour queue to get into Ikea because of COVID and everything like that. It's a nightmare.
I've never been in an Ikea. I haven't done it yet.
Are you an American?
I've never been. I'm sorry.
You don't need to go. Just do it all online. Like you can get the same shit online.
Can I get a fast pass?
It's crazy.
A fast pass to IKEA.
Fast pass IKEA.
Funny that you say that, Blake. I found like you can get in. I can get in faster now than I used to. Like living near Burbank when like pre-viddies. There was I feel like I would wait in like just the walk from like the back end of the parking lot to IKEA was like 500 fucking miles. It took so long to get in there and it was so packed you couldn't see anything. But now when you go in there, they can only let into these giant warehouses, like maybe 100 people. It's like a creepy ghost town in there now. It's kind of haunting, which is.
I might like it better. There's less people.
I mean, the whole place is evil.
No children.
Just do it online.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool though in terms of like, because when it comes to recycling stuff, like furniture is not on that list at all. Really, it ends up, chucked in the dump or whatever be the case. So, being able to have a recycling program for large items like that, especially with as big as IKEA is worldwide, that's it's definitely bound to make an impact.
That is a very positive thing. I feel like I went very negative. I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. We're all pessimistic here.
We're all assholes here. It's okay. Let's see. Mine has nothing to do with social justice nor saving the planet. It has to deal with some Midwest redneck nonsense. So this one's from Fox News, because of course it is.
Where all truth comes from.
Where all truth comes from. No fake news whatsoever.
None.
Basically, a dude in Kentucky drew on his license plate. And when I say drew on the license plate, you can go on the website to find it. But basically, this dude drew everything. He drew the little horse for Kentucky. He drew the words Kentucky. He wrote in his whole thing, and it's actually pretty good. Like you wouldn't know that it was drawn on unless you were like legitimately pulled over and like were staring at this thing. I mean, to his credit, great artist. Terrible idea. He didn't have any insurance. He didn't have a license. He was like, "Yep, seems legit."
Oh no!
I take that as Midwestern ingenuity.
No.
Good for him.
I just see that. I know what you're talking about, officer. That's always been there. I got that from the dealership. Love.
Yeah.
How is he not a
poor guy.
forger? Like, I feel like he'd get better work as like a forgery artist
He
or whatever.
probably could. It was like I said, bad decent. But that's pretty much all that there is. That story. That was a very short story. It's weird enough for me to mention. I was like, you know what? I have to talk about this a little
Should have gone with the clear poop toilets.
The clear
yeah.
poop to
We talked about it earlier.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
I still could talk about it because I have time. So my next piece of news: Tokyo, the Tokyo Park now has a bathroom that you can see that you can see out of, but people cannot see you inside of it. It fogs up the glass the moment you step inside, and there's actually
from the outside.
Yeah, but there's actually a really good reason why this exists. It's actually for safety at night. You don't know what's out there, obviously, next to your pooper. And the last thing you want is like someone around the corner messing with your pooper. And, and so you have this like 360-degree view now. So you're technically safer as a result, even though like there's always that sketchy, like someone can see me pooping, even though I know that's not the case.
When I was your age, I had to poop in a plastic box, and I couldn't see left or right or up or down. And if I wanted to hit it over, I'd be stuck inside of it, and that's okay.
That's great.
That's my festival experience right there. The weird thing about it is like are the toilets there? Are they just like it hadn't really occurred to me, just like weird glass cubes in the middle of a park? Or is it like, do you still have to go in a bathroom? Because the way it's described, it seems as if there's just a clear box in the middle of a field.
That's kind of what it is. It's a clear box.
I feel like just logistically that it doesn't make a lot of sense. But
I mean, logistically, no. But in terms of like, I guess, egalitarian prospect, it makes sense, I guess.
I mean, in LA, that would just be a drug babathroom. You can always see when people are walking around.
A drug and sex bathroom.
Exhibitionalism to the core.
Oh yeah,
sure.
I'm not going to say I would use that for that, but I would consider it.
I have done weird shit.
I'd
be down.
I've done absolutely horrendous things in the name of sex, but we're not going to talk about that. Hi, Blake.
No comment.
What do you have the world though for us?
Yeah, I think the number one thing as a music lover myself, and this is like well known if you're on TikTok, is seeing Fleetwood Mac getting back together because of cranberry juice.
Oh,
Yes.
And you have Stevie Nicks doing this thing. You have Mick Fleetwood doing this thing, all because of this one guy on a skateboard cruising down a hill. This video now has like 47 going on like 50 million views or something like that on TikTok, likes, all that stuff.
It's honestly,
crazy.
It's the most wholesome story of 2020, in my opinion. I think that's great.
That TikTok brought back Fleetwood Mac. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's great. I love it. I'm really excited about that, but also I'm excited for the dude too, because he got hooked up. Yeah, he like basically
sponsorships.
Well, he got sponsorships, but someone started a GoFundMe or Indiegogo or something for him, and he got like buku cash. They're like, "Oh, this is funny. Here's some money for this funny thing." Or not? It wasn't even funny though, but it was just wholesome.
I think it's cool. I'm not gonna lie though. I didn't know. I don't know why I thought this, but for some reason I didn't know Stevie Nicks was like still around. Like she is like a
thought she was
forest
dead or
witch
something?
that'll be here forever, I assume. But like she just sort of disappeared in like my modern context of like pop culture. Last time I saw her was like on American Horror Story, and she was an actual witch.
She was amazing in that, and like this is.
And so I guess my brain kind of assumed that she just like went back into the forest to go eat kids. Like, not that I don't like Stevie Nicks, like, but that's what my brain had.
Honestly, that couldn't have been better casted. Like
100%.
Like she is the witch's witch, and so when I saw that, I'm like, you know what? Yeah.
She's just synonymous with like super cool hippie witch, and it's like
for sure.
Speaking of weird and awful powers,
Oh,
it's time for some
time.
anti-hero madness. So for those who don't know what's coming next, we have a game we like to play here on the show called Anti-Hero. And the point of this game is to come up with a really great superpower with a really great weakness. Who wants to start us off?
I can start us off. I've got a in the tradition of D&D, which we're going to get into. I made a D&D hero. I was thinking of interesting letdowns and whatnot, and I was like, what could really make you fail? And I was like, a critical fail. And I thought, what if you were blessed by the D&D gods and given like a magical D20, which gave you the power of skill rolls. So at any point, you can get pretty much any power you wanted. Say you needed to jump like 100 feet in the air to do whatever you wanted, or fight a bad guy and need super strength. You just had to roll for it, but you had to take what you got. And you could run your whole being would become like this sort of like designed by like RNG kind of character or whatnot. And so you had to roll for all your things. So at any point you're like, hey, I need to have little like shoot lasers out of my eyes, and you're like D&D gods, and you roll your thing, you roll a 20 and you fucking cyclops everybody and release the nether dimension of energy into people. But you roll a 1 and it like shoots back into you and blows a hole in your head. You have to jump over a building. If you roll a 1, you immediately like just sink into the earth. But if you roll a 20, you jump over fucking anything. And this gives you a sense of chance, and now you can get like stat upgrades as you would, just like a normal character. If you're really short, you can be a halfling and get some extra bonus rolls. But yeah, you could be a D&D superhero, blessed by the D&D gods, and have a magic D20. Every day is a gamble.
God damn it! Like I don't have many vices. I love gambling, even if it's like dumb shit. I will bet straight up if I know. And the thing is, I would take this just because it's like, well, and I would take it over like the dumbest things too. It's like, I want a discount on this TV. Roll a 1.
For sure.
That's like I roll
That's
a 1.
It's a charisma roll.
Yeah,
it's a skill roll.
It's like I roll a 1. Now the TV's double the price.
Yeah, I feel like it would add so much flavor to life.
It would be a lot of fun. I almost don't even see this as like I don't even see this as like a bad power. I would take this.
Yeah. I mean, you take that until you're like, hey, like I need to throw this baseball, and you roll a 1 and your fucking shoulder blows out and you can never move your arm again. It's hard.
I want to have sex with this pretty woman. Oh no, it's so fun.
Or she stabs you. I don't know. Like you would really get creative
It's
with
like
the downsides of this.
It's like you roll a 1, she turns into like someone completely not attractive at all. You're like, oh man, never mind.
Medusa. She
pretty
turned into
light for-
Medusa.
Medusa? Oh,
That's
good.
better.
Yeah.
That's more intense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolute extremes, one way or another.
For sure. I mean, there's great mundanity to it, but point being, it would just be like in something like a comic book sense. Like, say you naturally had like some superpowers of sorts, like you were naturally like stronger, faster, enhanced durability, whatnot. So you automatically has your pluses. But just, I think it would be hilarious, like to read in a comic book of someone who's like cursed by the D&D gods. And it gave me an idea for a comic that I
was about to say, that sounds like a great comic. Just a normal everyday dude finds a magic dice and he's just fucking things up everywhere he goes. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I've legitimately thought about this character and was like, I want to write a comic book about it.
And you can call it Critical Role. I mean, maybe they can't do that, but
no, not that one. Close.
Close. Let's see. For me, okay, you have the power of flight, but as you're flying, you are just blasting ass ham all over the place. You're basically just an oversized pigeon flying through the air and just dropping ass ham. And the thing is, everyone knows it's
you mean shit?
Yeah, and everyone
you call it ass ham?
Yes.
What the fuck does that mean?
I was right with you, dude. I was like, what?
And so, and the thing is, like, it's not like anyone else flies or anything, so everyone knows it's you. If they find like human fecal just dropping from the sky, they know it's you just flying around.
Dude, do you intentionally just not wear pants while flying, or are you just consistently shitting your pants? Like,
you're just shitting your pants, and it's just easier to go pantsless at some point in time.
Like I thin you out real quick.
What the fuck?
Like, do you run out, or is it like a magical?
It's like magical, like inner realm shit. Like demons are just shitting out of your butthole into our realm. Like you are just like a butthole vortex, and it's passing through you.
I hate you. And I hate you for saying that. And also I hate you for saying ass ham.
It's a hard pass for me. No, thank you. No.
Not worth it.
That might be the title. That might be Flying Ass Ham episode.
Flying ass ham.
Oh.
How about you, Blake? You want to be an ass ham boy?
That just sounds so bad.
No, I'm good. I would be my character would be an actor.
Mm-hmm.
So you would act like you're blowing ass ham.
See, it's kind of like he's like Ditto, right? Like the Pokemon, so he can be whatever person.
That's
I don't play the game at all, so I have no idea.
He's just grossly underpaid, like all actors.
It's like you're that'd be a good one. Like you're the best, like you're the best hero in the world, but you only get paid at exposure.
The best Oscar winning, and you get such notoriety, but you only get paid at exposure. Oh.
I mean, it's still not the worst. I'm still probably the best one on the list thus far.
I think Ditto is probably the best Pokemon. He can be whatever he wants to be. It's great. It's great. He wants to be Mewtwo.
I read a weird theory that
Ditto Mewtwo. You know what I mean? Like that'd be cool.
I read a weird theory that Ditto was messed up clones of Mew, because Mewtwo is a clone of Mew. Yes. And I read the whole theory that Ditto is really just like a mushed up Mewtwo, like was failed clones. So Milton, come on, man. You should have superpowers, but you just ended up being a mush boy, and now you can just turn into other mush people. Oh my, fuck you, Milton. Stop. Where's your mother?
Shannon, what about you? What superheroes you got?
So, my weakness, I had to like tweak it because we already had the ass ham section. So, so you can create whatever currency, just like out of your body. Your body generates currency, only like to get it out of your body, it has to come out of your nipples. It has
That sounds
to.
great.
Okay, I have
And
questions.
it's painful. It's like painful.
Okay, that was the first question.
Yes. So like, let's just say you really needed money for that house, but you can generate like $1 million, like as much money as you need. It's just going to be painful out of your, you know.
So
I mean, eventually you could bring down countries. Like you could destroy their economic system.
And then people would also be trying to like kidnap you once they found out your power, and they'd be like trying to get your nipple money, you know.
Here's the thing. I would take this power.
Nipcoin.
Nipcoin.
Yeah, it's not Bitcoin, it's Nipcoin. It's a whole new system of currency.
That's a thing now. We're just coming up with all sorts of dumb shit tonight.
See, originally I was gonna have it come out of your butt, but you had the whole ass ham thing, so you know, I went for the other, like the top end.
Okay.
Part of my lexicon I can never let go of.
I'm gonna take this power, and the reason is I'm a lazy fuck, and I hate working. I just hate day-to-day working. I don't want to do it. I would definitely take the pain, like knowing that I no longer have to actually work to make this money, and I can just live my fucking life and live it well if I really wanted to for like a little bit of pain. Okay, I do that on the, like, life is pain anyway. You might as well make money off your pain, right? Fuck it, I'll take it.
Bitcoin.
But your life would be over. Like everyone on Earth would be obsessed with you. You'd be like, it wouldn't. Like if someone that could just like generate gold, like they would just immediately be stolen and abused. You'd be like a Superman on Earth. All they just want to pick holes in you and figure out why are your nips magic.
Dude, they can eat my dick because I'm just gonna make enough money to raise my own army to protect me, so no one will fuck with me. I win.
The logistics of raising an army. First, you got to get political power. Then you have to do that. You have to have people involved with you. Like you
just need
got
to
to
have
look at the bigger picture here.
You need Jeff
That's
Bezos.
a lot
He
of
has enough money.
Bitcoin, Sam. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I could be my own stock exchange, baby. Fucking nip that out.
I mean, yeah, you do you. That sounds like pure misery to me, like existential misery. I would end up killing myself. I'd end up drowning myself in my own shitty nip coin.
Oh, dude, I just
escape
realized
the pain.
You would be a literal cash cow. That's what it would be. You have the power of cash cow.
Because it comes out your.
That is true.
Not
You
your
would be
titties.
a literal cash cow.
Superhero, I guess. Okay, here's one. This is actually, my dad thought of this idea, and he thought it'd be a really, really cool, like kind of like story for like Toy Story. So like Buzz Lightyear has an evil twin brother named Hum Dark Day. Get it, the opposite of Buzz Lightyear, Dark Day. And he's like, you know, he has like the black suit, and he's just like Buzz's evil twin brother. And like, you know, he's just a bad dude, you know, and his weakness, I don't know, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, he runs out of batteries, just like Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, Hum Dark Day. First of all,
battery.
and another good band name.
Yeah.
Yes, a good grunge name right there. Write it down.
Hum Dark Day.
Right.
Name.
Yeah.
Also, it feels good coming out. You can say that real fast. I like that.
Right.
So we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next thing, which this was a new segment. We had it last week, and it went over so well. We're gonna do it again, and that would be called Celebrity Character Sheets. And the way this works is we take a person who is a celebrity, and we do a character sheet based off that person. However, we decided to expand it a little bit to also fictional characters. So it can be a living celebrity or a fictional character.
Why don't we do fucking Fleetwood Mac? Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
Stevie Nicks? Oh,
Shit, what a fucking character.
I'm down for that. That's a great one.
It's almost too easy.
It's almost too easy.
And Blake, you make things up. That's the greatest thing about D&D too, is it's all just fucking nerds making shit up. So even if you don't know the rules, just Pretend.
I'll
Because it
tag
doesn't
along.
fucking matter.
Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it.
And like we
So-
already have a discount because Sam is like an older generation of D&D than I am. So a lot of our like the things that we say, like me and him like are talking almost two different languages sometimes. So it doesn't really matter if you don't know the exact nomenclature. Just
I'm
throw
also
out
kind
weird
of
shit.
like a baby too. So like I just started out like last year. So like I know nothing.
Johnson.
Cool. All right.
I'm a fucking repository of knowledge about it. But
Yeah, he's a like a legitimate licensed SDM, so he knows all the shit. So let's start off with race and class. What do we got? Obviously, elf.
Elf.
Mhm.
it would
Wood elf?
Wood elf.
Probably a wood elf. She leans towards that, and she
Mhm.
seems ageless for sure.
Mhm.
And she would be like a druid wizard. I
Mhm.
feel like.
Is there?
Mhm.
Does
you hear
she
that?
have
Would
one
you
of the 7 rings?
She
It's
could
a
have
Lord
one
of
of
the
the.
Rings joke.
She
She
could.
could.
I mean, if she
it's
kicked it with
Elfin,
Galadriel, I'd be like, yeah, totally makes sense. I don't know if I would go just druid though, because like once again, this goes back into the bardic stuff. Like she's
Yeah.
an enchanter, she's an old, and she's a whole witch. I'd give her like a sorceress bard. I feel like she would
Bard.
kick it with the druids, but I think because I feel like she is way more of like an enchantress. Druids don't do a lot of like illusions and enchanting and charms.
No, she's definitely got enchantress down on the map. That makes
Mhm.
sense. In terms, and I feel like that's more of a supplemental job class. Like mainly, what would be like the main class? Like I know it, like druid sounds right, but also wizard sounds right. Bard is kind of right, but also not really. She almost doesn't fit into every. She fits in those categories, but doesn't fit in every one of those
Well,
categories.
let me start. Is she a good guy or a bad guy?
I think she's neutral. I think she's like true neutral.
Everybody seems so. We
No.
always pick neutral people.
No, I think no. I think she's chaotic good. I think she's a chaotic good individual.
Yeah, she's good. I get like a real Hansel and Gretel vibe.
You
from
just
her, you know?
really want her to be eating kids in the woods.
I want her to be eating kids. I just feel like she's so powerful. She's too much. She's too powerful.
She doesn't look like the kind that would eat kids in the forest though. That's not her
Or-
MO.
Absolutely corrupts, you know?
She's more like she's kind of like the person who she's like a magic scientist basically. I feel like she's the one who's like deep in the forest trying to come up with like new magic to like help out the world or something.
Maybe she's a guardian of a well of power. You know?
So she's Galadriel. Y'all, she's Galadriel.
Yeah.
But she's just basically like living in Lothlorien, giving fucking magic trinkets to hobbits. And she looks in the pond and she's like, I could become an evil queen, but she doesn't. She's good. That's
Might
I'd
want to
write
eat
this
kids, like
crazy-
have like that little slight thought in the back of her mind. You know, maybe a kid would taste good, and then she's like, "Oh no, I shouldn't."
I would go. Maybe I guess I could lean into druids a little bit for like the psychotic, like Dionysus style, like partying and drug
Yeah,
use.
there's definitely a pagan aspect to her character, I feel like.
Maybe she's an old god. Maybe she's an old god of music. Less of like a character, more leaning back into more like NPC style. Maybe she's
Okay.
like an old god of music and partying.
So backstory on this then. Is or was a god, decided she got bored as fuck hanging out amongst the clouds or whatever the fuck she does, or on some different plane, decides, you know what, I'm gonna go slum it with the humans and the elves and the everything else. And then she realized, holy shit, these guys know how to party. I'm gonna hang out here for a while. And so she decides to create these like magical musical instruments that basically just automatically rages out into a party no matter where you're at, basically. And all the bards look at her as a god.
She's
Oh,
Tasha.
bardic god.
She's the bardic
Yeah,
god.
it's like there's a bunch of spells that from a ancient wizard called Tasha, and she's the one that has like Tasha's hideous laughter and whatnot, to where like you cast these spells and people cannot stop like laughing or dancing or doing different things, which is a lot of fun. I just want to make her a bad guy. I just want to write up more
Hey,
fucking bad
she
guys.
could be a fallen god. So, like, maybe one time during a party, somebody stole one of her trinkets from her past life as a god, and then that turned her into like a fallen character, and that's when she starts eating kids
What's that?
in the
Fucking
forest.
Jimmy
Yes,
Iovine?
and she punishes them by making them drink cranberry juice. I got
Exactly.
you, Cranberry Company. I got you.
We call that a
Sponsor the
callback. That's good. That's kind of that's like her system of currency that's like if you bring her goods, you bring her like bowls of cranberries. That is like the only gift she accepts.
So many bowls of cranberry juice.
Well, because it's the cranberry juice that she like transmogrifies into her power. So she's powered by salty, gross ass cranberry juice.
I'm not opposed. How would you use her in a campaign? You already know.
Well, I think she would bring everyone together with the cranberry juice, playing her awesome music. And then once she has all of them in her place, she just annihilates all of them, and then she rules the world as the only person.
That's what I'm talking about, man. This guy fucking gets it.
It's done. It's game over.
Gods are vengeful, and they don't care about mortals, man.
I'd use her like I'd probably I've never DM'd before, but like I'd like have her start off as people thinking she's a good god, and then as the campaign continues, it's like she's kind of like influencing, and then like suddenly like there's clues to like her being not a good guy, and then like once the whole party realizes they've been duped, like that's when shit gets real. No. And she has her little like cranberry elven minions come after you.
Little cranberries running after you.
Or even better yet, like she starts off as a good person, like a good dude, right, or whatever. And as she's traveling, like she's basically hearing all of her parties are fucking lame and shit. So she like starts going insane because all she wants to do is throw awesome parties. So now she thinks she's just lame as fuck.
That's more the direction I would go. I would say more she's as she fell, like so she was like this old god of music and partying and all these things. And in her prime, like she was worshipped and loved. Came down to live with the mortals, and then she keeps hearing people redo her songs really shitty, and she gets like angry about it because people are covering her shit, and people have lost the true beauty of what Fleetwood Mac was. And Stevie Nicks now is that she's angry, and so now when bards come to like get favor from her, if they try to cover her music and do it shitty like everyone does, she destroys them.
That's great.
She's just
like
mad.
that.
And maybe she's trying to get back her divinity, and by a way to do that.
Like an offering. You have to give an offering, and she forces you to sing one of her songs, and if she doesn't like it, you're dead.
Like a Medusa thing almost.
I've used that in a heartbeat. I love that. I'm all about that. An angry music god who if you
roll a 1 and you're fucked.
Yeah. She eats it.
I love that. That's a great tie right there.
That's a good little fallen god. I could use that character. I'll throw that character in there.
So in terms of like magic and feature use, what do you think she would like use to attack or to fuck with people?
I mean, it'd be the same as like it's almost the same as last week. I think she would use these illusory or charm effects and whatnot, and lots of like enchantments. I mean, she's a god of music. She enchants you with her music, brings you in, and then basically like nullifies you and makes you believe whatever she says until like she brings the truth out of you. And if you're a shitty bard and doesn't like curry enough favor, then you don't earn life. And she takes your magical prowess from you and eats your ability. I
think we could go more Mars Attacks with it, where it's like the John Denver song is like literally blowing people's head, like blowing aliens' heads up as it rolls around, you know? Like that's how I see it. She's just like singing, and it just
it hits a high note, and then just a head explodes.
Yeah, except when the head explodes, it's not blood. It's cranberry juice.
Yeah.
It's fucking cranberry juice.
Fucking cranberry juice. Okay, so to wrap this up, 0 out of 10. How bad is this bad guy? Or actually, how character-y is this character? Like, how much would you want this?
Oh, I'd love her as a character. 100%. So 10 for me. Give me Stevie Nicks in my campaign.
I think it's very specific. I'm gonna go like it's like 6.5, 7 out of 10, just because I need a very specific reason to utilize her. She, of course, the campaign that is the one shot, the Kanye West and the Land of the Sirens campaign. Then she would fit into that campaign. I could use her to curry favor against a musical bad guy.
Even better.
But if you think about it, her ultimate ability is that she makes people's head explode and it turns into cranberry juice, and that's a one-hit kill wonder. So like you can't top that. right?
Yeah, well, for sure.
I mean, what if
Stevie
somebody
Nicks has
was
never been referenced with One Punch Man ever in the
And
world
then
until now, by the way.
when she goes Super Saiyan, she sprays out diet cranberry juice, and that just messes everybody up.
It's over.
Okay. Now,
That's Dragon Ball Z. That has nothing to do with it.
now the last thing before we move on. The Kanye West Murder Choir versus the Enchantress Stevie Nicks. Who wins?
Ooh. I mean, I feel
Well,
like she
you
can
gotta
make
fill me
people's
in with
heads
Kanye.
explode.
What's going on with Kanye?
Okay, so
Fill me in with Kanye.
last episode we did this with Kanye West, and he ended up having like an entire murder choir, and it was amazing. So it's Kanye West and his murder choir versus Stevie Nicks, the Enchantress, god of music. Who wins?
I think Stevie wins every time.
Yeah.
I don't
She's
know.
a god.
Yeah,
Like-
fallen god or not, like she wins that.
Yeah, but couldn't the argument be that Kanye is Jesus? So isn't he technically
God.
one?
That was
God
a part of
damn
the thing.
it.
Is the part of it last week was that he's a super powerful psychotic.
He's
Like,
part of the Trinity, yo.
But she's a bardic god, though. So, I mean, oh, shit. How this could happen is like she destroys his army of sirens in the murder choir because they're not good enough. But his music is good enough for her not to be able to blow his head up. And then they might duke it out and fight and shit. And then I don't know if he defeats her or not, or maybe they come to an understanding. And then maybe he ascends to take her place in the pantheon as a god.
And then he comes on his next,
As
hip hop
Jesus.
record as a feature.
I don't want to give Kanye West that much credit. Get the fuck out of here.
So this glorious battle happens, right? And then Kanye's like on his knees, and he just looks at her. I'm gonna let you finish.
That's a cinematic event right there.
That is.
That's
That
good.
is.
Baby, endgame. Holy crap! This turned into something that didn't need to be a thing, but is now a totally thing, and I love it.
Well, when we play our game, it's not gonna go that way. I tell you that. Yeah.
Yes. So we're gonna move on to our special guest tonight, Blake Roberto Ward.
Oh, hi, that's me.
That is you. You get your own segment on this show, my dude. So
Wow.
So Blake has very humble origins from the city of Santa Cruz, and he's been writing and making his way through Hollywood, which has been great. Literally banging down all the doors, trying to get things made. He is the hype man in our group, essentially. I don't remember what I do anymore, but writing, I guess. I'm more like the writing, world building guy. He's more the hype man, get us in the door kind of guy. We actually work out really well this way. So we're gonna ask you a couple of questions about your life and how you got up to the point you're currently at today.
Sure thing.
Cool. So what are you working on right now? What are you working on right now?
Well, there was a lot of movement going on, and then this COVID thing hit, and Hollywood just kind of just stopped,
Yep.
So right now, I have an original Beach Boys musical. Sam knows it. It's called Sounds of Summer. It's kind of like in the same vein as Mamma Mia. So, but I'm bringing characters to life such as Barbara Ann and Rhonda, and you get to know who they are as people and stuff. Long story short, I have a deal with a theater company actually in Santa Cruz. It's about a 509-seat theater, and I am currently talking to entertainment attorneys to go get the music rights at Universal Music Group and all the other holding companies to then bind the music to the book, so then I can license the book out to Musical Theater International, that then you can then put it on your own stage wherever you are in the world. So that's kind of like the quick version of it, but baby steps,
So
the last 10 years, and we're starting to see some movement, so it's cool.
So you've been, it sounds like you've been doing this a while. It's a musical it takes a lot of time and a lot of resources, and it's not exactly like a popular genre for anything. How long did it take you to develop this project, and like how far do you think you've gone, and how far do you think you need to go?
So I actually started writing this for fun. I was a really addicted Halo player. I was really good. Halo 3, like you cannot beat me like at all. I was really good. And I kind of like, put the Xbox aside for a bit, and I was like, all right, I need to fill my time up with like, not doing this. So I picked up, I was kind of like driving home from the beach one day, and in Santa Cruz, and it was like my sophomore year. Yeah, freshman going to my sophomore year, like that summer. And California Girls popped up on the radio. So this was like 2011. And, we've heard the song millions of times, but for some reason it kind of like hit me like I need to go write this Beach Boys musical. So fast forward to 2014, I used this as my senior thesis at Loyola, and I get a good grade on it, A+, and professors at the time were like, you need to get this in front of the band. So graduate, and now I'm out in Hollywood. I'm like, how am I going to get in contact with the Beach Boys? So literally nose to the grindstone, beating the pavement. And I'm like on Facebook, and it's like, oh yeah, Mike Love. He's like the lead singer on like Surfing USA and like, a couple other, well, actually a lot of songs, if you recognize his voice. But he was at Amoeba Records, right? And he's doing like a free show, and they're doing a whole signing thing. And so I go there, meet him, talk to his wife, and the wife personally emails me, and they have the script. So there's one. Then I am working at this restaurant in Marina Del Rey, and I get off work at like 3 p.m. and I noticed that Al Jardine, who's their rhythm guitar player from back in the day, he has his own private show up in San Luis Obispo, up in, it's just like a 3-hour drive, and the show starts at like 8. So I get in my car and I just book it up there, get backstage passes and everything, and I just kind of take a picture with him and start talking to him, getting introduced to his manager. His manager's name is Spud, pretty fun guy. He's really into the whole surfing tiki culture thing, so he's like the perfect dude to manage Al. and so I've become really good friends with him, and then to the point of just like messaging people, like from there it's like David Marks, who's their lead guitar player, went to lunch with him twice. They have the musical, and so it's just like, hey guys, look, I got in the door with these people, and then there was this one night, and this is pretty cool how the universe kind of like pushes things together. There's this one night where it was like 2 years ago, this couple is sitting at my table, and I'm serving at the restaurant over here in Marina, and they're like, so what do you do? You're not like a server full time. I'm like, well, I got this Beach Boys thing, blah, 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 blah. And they kind of look at each other, and they say, well, have you thought about like throwing like a premiere for the short film that I've made, with Sam was in it, and we went up to Leo Carrillo, shot this whole thing, had all the cars, the OG surfboards, did the whole dance numbers out on the beach right there. It was just, it was like literally like 15-minute teaser trailer for for the musical and stuff that's on my YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. And so they're like, well, we are actually really good friends, and at United Recording and East West Studios, because we're managers within the music industry. And I'm like, oh, really? They're like, yeah, we represent like Bob Dylan's kids and like a couple others. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So they're like, you want to check out the studios? I was like, yeah, sure. So we set up a time. I go into East West Studios on Sunset Boulevard, and I'm walking in through these doors, and they're like, okay, so here's room A. It's this big old room. And they're like, so what was recorded in here? And it's like, come fly with me, Frank Sinatra. Fly Me to the Moon, Frank Sinatra. Here's the microphone, Frank sang on, and then we're like, okay, that's cool. We're walking down to their famous room, which is room 3. And you walk in, it's this kind of smaller room, but you're like, so this is the room where Brian Wilson created Pet Sounds. So wouldn't it be nice if we were older, like that, and God only knows what those songs were there. I'm like, here's the piano that it was recorded on. So I'm like touching the piano. Mamas and the Papas, California Dreamin', that was recorded in there. Scott McKenzie, If You're Going to San Francisco, that's recorded in there. You know, so it's all these big artists. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So we go from there to United Recording, which is like next door. And we're, you know, it's just like all the history of this place, like American Idiot from Green Day was recorded in there. Michael Jackson was recording Thriller, and we're like walking down the hallway, like, oh yeah, see this bathroom? It's like, yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, that's where Michael Jackson kept his pet monkey when he was recording in the next studio over. He just put the monkey in the bathroom and locked it. And it's
That
like,
poor
let's go do some music.
monkey.
So, yeah, so you know, it's like all these things, and it's like, oh yeah, this is where Barbara Ann was recorded, and the Foo Fighters did Learn to Fly in the same room that Barbara Ann was recorded by the Beach Boys. You know, I'm learning all these, like, you know, little fun things. So, you know, we end up setting a date. It's really cool. We got like a bunch of people there from the industry. One of the founding fathers of Gibson Guitar showed up. His name's Peter Leinheiser. He's friends with John Stamos and Brian Wilson, all those guys. He showed up. Daria Wilson, Brian's eldest daughter from his current marriage to Melinda Wilson, she showed up, and it was just all positive, you know, feedback and support from everybody all across, you know, the board, which is fantastic. So right before COVID hit, I had a meeting with WME lined up to check out the musical and potentially sign me and a couple other writers to, you know, as a group to, like, you know, get into this thing. And I had interest, we're actually right across the street here at Sony and TriStar, to take a look at it too. And then Hollywood shut down, and I'm just like, okay, so this is fun. I had like all this stuff going, and now it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you just have to wait till, like, you know, next year or whenever COVID decides to go away and we reopen back up. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, okay, well, now what do I do?
Boulevard of broken dreams, man.
Well, yeah, really though. So yeah, kind of coming full circle. It's great to get this letter of intent from this theater company, and, you know, actually, you know, they want to put it on next summer, depending on, you know, whether or not COVID goes away or not. But it's cool. It's just, if you want to get something done in this town, you have to be relentless, and you just have to go for it. Too many of my friends that moved down here from Northern California, anywhere around the world, have left, and it's just like, you got to, if you really want something in this town, it took Brad Pitt 10 years to make it into the, you know, it's like, it takes people a long time. It's not going to happen overnight unless you're Justin Bieber with Usher.
So you know? let me ask you a question, a final question before I move on. You know, you've been working on this project for 6 going on 7 years, a really long time, just this one project. And you've talked a lot about the successes and a lot about the people that you've met. What are some of the challenges you've met along the way? And what, other than COVID, what challenges still remain for you?
So the challenges for this are obviously acquiring the star of the show, which is the music rights to the Beach Boys music. So this is where it gets interesting. If you go on BMI's website, and this is where it gives you all the information about the songs. Let's take Good Vibrations, for example. I'm picking up good vibrations. We all know it, right? Mm-hmm. There are 6 title holders that own the rights to that one song. So in order for this one song to get, you know, attached to the narrative that I wrote, I have to have entertainment attorneys make individual deals with each 6 of those people just for that one song. And if 5 say yay and the 6 says no, I then cannot use that song, and I have to rewrite the script. So this is where it's like, it's come to this point of like, I got all the ducks in a row, and now it's time to pull the trigger. And so I've been in contact with, you know, this is the big, you know, scary part, is like, all right, reaching out to attorneys and like figuring out like what are the steps to going out and doing this, you know, the right legal way, right? You can't go just put the show on, or else you're going to get sued up the wazoo by, you know, everyone that owns the rights. So it's like, how do you go about getting the rights? So the challenge for this, are the grand rights, and that's what we're currently acquiring right now. So it's music rights specifically for the Jukebox musical. And I have to, I got it now. I had to raise like $5,000. I got most of that from investors. I'm going to raise some on the side through a GoFundMe. But it's that initial $5,000 is for the attorneys to write out letters of engagement that go to every single person that owns every single song, for the entirety of the musical.
Like a bureaucratic nightmare.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so where it gets, even crazier than that, besides putting the music on the side, is that you have the Beach Boys are one of the most dramatic bands when it comes to just suing each other, just in general. Little story about it.
Careful,
So,
Blake. You're being recorded, man.
Yeah,
You don't want that coming back.
It's nothing against any of these guys. The dream is to get all of them in a room and say, look, put all the BS aside and look at this and look how far it's gotten, because it's going to do you guys wonders for your music. Like the summer I started writing this, I'm at this daycare with these kids ranging from like first to 8th grade. And I sit them down. It's like music appreciation day, and I'm a singer and stuff. And so they asked me, like, Blake, can you write? I was like, sure. And so I sit these kids down. I'm like, okay, who here has heard of the song title California Girls? And all these kids raise their hands. And I'm like, okay, who wrote it? And they all yelled out, I'm kidding you not, they all yelled out, Katy Perry. And so all the adults in the room are like looking at each other like, we're getting old. And all the kids are like, what are you talking about? And so I played them, this song, and they're like, oh, we've heard this song before. And they're like all dancing in their seats and having fun. The issue comes with the band. The majority of it comes with the issue with the band. And so music rights, I don't have to worry about anything, because Brian Wilson's dad was in a lighter word, an asshole, and went behind Brian and Mike's backs and sold all the Beach Boys music rights to Capitol Records, which is now owned by Universal, back in the day, underneath their noses. And they had no idea about it. And so they are 76, 77 years old, and they have to tour for the rest of their lives to pay for everything. They can't just retire like Bob Dylan, because Bob owns all of his music. And now, McCartney just got his rights to the Beatles music after all these years from Michael Jackson taking it, etc. But Brian wants to, he gets to this point where, he sees the Beatles and how crazy awesome they are doing with this album called Rubber Soul. And Brian has this mental breakdown on a plane one day, and he's like, as the band's going over to Asia for this Asian tour, and he pretty much tells the band, guys, look, I want to stay home and write music, and I think it would be best if you guys go on without me, and when you come back, I'll have great music for you guys. So Mike and Bruce and all these guys go over to Japan, China, and they're performing over there. Brian comes back to the US and he creates Pet Sounds, right? And even to this day, the Rolling Stones magazine just came out with like the top 500 albums of all time, and Pet Sounds is number 2. It just like came out like a month ago, right? So, the Beach Boys album, it's still, it's crazy how awesome it's doing, for how old it is, right? So this is where the split comes with the band. Mike and the guys come home, and Brian has written Pet Sounds, and Pet Sounds sounds nothing like the traditional Beach Boys music. This surfing USA, and they drive her daddy's car, and she, it's none of the bippity boppity boop happy fun flower stuff, right? It's this deeper side of Brian Wilson that just, it still blows my mind and people's minds when they listen to Pet Sounds all the way through, because of how deep it is. And so Mike Love pretty much hears this, and it's kind of like, what the is this, to Brian. And Brian says, dude, the Beatles are killing us. Like, we gotta beat them. Like, Brian was a very competitive guy and still is. And Mike's like, no, we got to stick with the surfing stuff. And so that's where this split came. And Brian now tours underneath Brian Wilson with Al Jardine, and Mike tours with Bruce Johnson underneath the Beach Boys. And so Mike does his own show of what he thinks the band should be, and Brian does his own thing about what he thinks it should be. So they're suing each other left and right of just about for anything. And it's super sad, because it's like, you think with, especially Mike talking about love, peace, and harmony, and, and you think that would be the thing with the band, is like getting everyone back together. So it's hard, that's the part of it. It's like, I can put this musical on, but getting all of them in a room to be like, can you guys back this? That's the tough part. So it's kind of like that's being put aside to see how well the musical will do on its own when it's in a stage production, and kind of go from there. Then once it is big enough to a point and they see that, that's when they'll kind of hop on, if that makes sense. But it's just drama central with those guys. So I've been doing this over the last 10 years, hanging out with these guys and everyone. I mean, they're all nice people. It's just like, put the drama aside and let's do something fun for you guys, Like, that's what I want to do at the end of the day.
Do you guys have any other questions for Blake before we move on?
It's a lot, yeah.
My question?
It's a lot. It's
a tremendous amount of information.
Yeah, there's a lot,
My only question was like, were you, I mean, clearly you were like a big Beach Boys fan. You must have been. You seem to be very passionate. But you say you were just like driving on the beach one day and sort of like realized you need to make this. Like, was this like, that's a strange like epiphany to have as you're driving up the road by a beach and you're just like, fuck, like I need to write a musical about the Beach Boys. Like was this something you had really come to you? Are you more musically inclined, or was it like more the screenwriting element, or like what really made you take that strange left turn?
That if I had a real answer to that, like
there doesn't have to be a real answer. That was the weirdest thing.
Yeah,
the whole
no, I know. No, to me it is. Even to this day, it's just really weird because, like, again, I was this big video gamer guy, like, just whatever, and I don't know, like I had never written anything before. I didn't have Final Cut and Final Draft. I didn't have all these programs and stuff to do things on. Final Draft, not Final Cut. But like I just went home, opened up Microsoft Word, and I downloaded their top hits album, and it was weird because like all the songs just started rearranging themselves in my head into this narrative, and I just started spitting it out onto the computer. And I can't explain it.
It does happen like that sometimes.
Yeah, so it's crazy. But I mean, to this point with the movie end of it, I was really fortunate to be introduced to Jim Brubaker, and Jim was the ex-president of Universal Studios, and he produced like the Rocky franchise with Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey, and the Nutty Professor with like Eddie Murphy, and he's attached to the project, which is super cool. So it's again, it's when Hollywood opens up, we'll see what happens, but. Yeah. It's been a long journey, but I'm still going at it. The goal is to at least see it on stage at least once, and then I'll shut up about it and see where the universe takes it from there. But until then, it's keep going. Just never give up on your dreams. That's I guess that's the kind of whole thing about it. So that's it.
Well, Blake, thank you for the insights of Hollywood that a lot of people don't get to see very often. Like, it's one thing to say, oh, I made it and here's how I did it, but you really kind of gave a more comprehensive step-by-step on what you've done to get to where you are now. And, it's pretty rare. So thank you for sharing your insights about that and your weird, large, comprehensive amount of Beach Boys history with us.
Yeah.
You learn a lot when you hang out with all of them.
So before we move on, where can we find you in the world?
So let's see. YouTube, just Blake Ward. I'm the first guy that pops up. If you want to watch the Beach Boys short film that Mr. Locke here helped me put together. It's called Sounds of Summer. And there's a little, it's 15 minutes. Pretty fun. I'm also on Instagram at Blake Robert Ward. If you want to check me out there, that's when I kind of do most of my stuff. I do have a Snapchat, but it's like I don't use it a lot, and there's a Twitter that I don't really use it a lot. It's just kind of like Instagram and YouTube are like, yeah, there's some of my things. But,
so what we'll do is we'll put all the links for your YouTube in the comment in the little blurb below so people can check that out.
Dope. And website is www.blakerobertward.com. There you go. Cool. All right. Plug.
So it's okay. We're probably gonna.
And he has help here.
I found him on the table. I put on my outfit.
Oh my God, Zach! What happened to your ears?
Just like, oh my.
Me and Katie live weird lives. There's a lot of fake ears and fake things. And
tainted shroomy fuck.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So we're going to move into our last segment of the night called The Hills We Die On. And for those who have not joined us in the last couple of episodes, The Hills We Die On is when we argue to the death for something rather ridiculous and doesn't have any real impact on your life, because it's fun to see what people are extremely passionate about over nothing. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I didn't tell you about my extreme hatred of Glinda the Good Witch, right?
No.
Okay, so like literally, she's the fucking bad guy. She literally conjures a house with an innocent girl to like hit her rival. And so like, you know, when you first read or watch Wizard of Oz, you're like, oh wow, like poor Dorothy, like this evil wicked witch of the West is like, you know, trying to get her because of her shoes. No, man, that was her sister's shoes that this girl's just fucking house just dropped on her sister. And like, she's just like, hey, give me the shoes back. And like Dorothy, because fucking Glinda is like, oh Dorothy,
Nobody's liked a Glinda
must take
before,
off
ever.
those shoes for the life of you. Oh Dorothy, fucking making this poor girl aid and abet her crimes of stealing those sparkly ass shoes from like her rival, her magic shoes. And she's like, I won't take responsibility. I'm just going to get her to kill my other rival because I don't want to do it myself because I don't want to be the bad guy. Fucking Glinda. She's literally the most evil person there. She like dropped a house on a bitch and then tricks an innocent girl into killing somebody else just for a pair of motherfucking shoes.
So what?
I mean, that just sounds like a true Hollywood story.
I mean, and then, you know, bouncing off the musical Wicked, it makes it look like, and it shows that Glinda is this bad person and the Wicked Witch is actually good. And it's awesome how they tie that
it's
into
very
the movie. So,
Devil Wears Prada
spot
almost.
You're spot on.
You know,
fuck Glinda.
I've never ever thought about this that hard and like at all even. And after hearing that, I'm totally willing to die on that fucking hill with you. Absolutely. Because
Glinda's the worst.
Yeah. Now, I don't know. Have you seen the second Oz, the Return to Oz? That is terrifying.
It's creepy.
So
creepy.
terrifying.
It's been a minute for me.
Oh my
but,
God.
yeah.
No, and the thing is, I watched this as a kid, and I know we're a little off track here. I watched this as a kid, and it blew. It was just dark and spooky, and there was like rollerblading, long-legged people in it, and it was just sad because there's like elements of like suicide in it, and there's like something about a mental hospital. Dude, they totally just like, hey, remember that thing that was kind of wholesome in a way? We're just gonna throw all this out the door. We're just gonna stuff it in the trash can. You're never gonna see it again because this exists. It's so good and it's so bad, but it's also so good.
It's so good, but so bad, but so good. Okay,
Fair
noted.
But yes, I'm on that hill. Zach, what are you on that hill?
I don't have a strong opinion about it really. But I do I get the passion. She does sound pretty awful. But again, it just sounds like half the girls I know in Hollywood. Like there's so many monsters out here that are just like her. So I guess I've been numbed to the evils of Glinda's, you know? That's also all the mean girls in Hollywood. I'm just going to call them Glinda from now on.
Glinda's.
Well, I mean, isn't that like Karens? Like Karens and Glendas hanging out with each other? Is
They're
that how that's
different
working?
styles of people. Karens and Glendas are two different evils. Both evil, but different evil, for sure.
Glinda's will kill you for a pair of Louboutins. Like.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're usually younger and prettier.
So would you call them the fashion police? Is that what that would be?
Maybe glamour Nazis?
Ooh.
Too strong? Maybe? I don't know.
Into the fire with you! Leave the shoes!
Leave the
Let's see. Have we talked about M. Night Shyamalan on this show yet?
We've not climbed that hill now.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I'm going into this.
Oh no.
M. Night Shyamalan is a shit director. Absolutely god awful. The worst. Other than Josh Trank, he is the worst fucking working director in Hollywood right now. And the
You don't
reason
give Trank a pass for Chronicle?
I can't. I'm sorry. He's in jail.
Did you
he's
not
in
like
jail.
Chronicle?
I liked it, but he's in jail for Fantastic Four. He's never getting out. But
I thought you meant he was actually in jail, and I was like, what did Mac Trank do?
no, he's in.
He's a weird little guy. I don't know.
He's in director jail. But I hate. He does this thing almost every movie he does the exact same fucking thing, where about halfway through the movie, give or take, he gives it all away at the end. Like he
Wait,
just
is this Trank or Shyamalan?
Shyamalan.
Okay, I was like, okay.
The best explanation is Signs. I loved Signs up in, or no, not Signs, The Happening. The Happening was an amazing film up to a certain point where basically, I think it was actually him as this person, because he does this every time where he gives it away, where he's like, well, I have a theory. And of course, the theory is always right every single time. Where it's like, I have a theory that it's the plants, and he did the same thing in Signs. I have a theory, it's the water. You know, like he and it's like right in the middle, and it doesn't mean anything. And then like when it's at the end, and you realize it was this theory the entire time, it's so fucking disappointing. Like, bro, I didn't need to know that now.
I mean,
know?
not.
Okay.
Everyone picks that up. That's like, it's a red herring. It's a writing
I
tactic.
will
And some
raise you
people-
The Village, though. There was none of that shit in The Village.
Yeah, The Village fucked me up. I thought that movie was cool.
I actually
There's
got
none of
that. I got that ruined for me. I wanted to know.
That takes away everything.
I really wanted to see The Village.
That was like the one that he doesn't give it away at the very end. He shows up at the very, very end, but he doesn't give it away because he's not in the movie until that very last scene.
I feel like his filmmaking career died like when the internet got big, because like you can't, because the moment you know about the end of his movies, they're not fun anymore. Like they're only good for one time through.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I think he did that with did he do it with Sixth Sense? I think he might have. But the where his career went was the
Movie that shall not be named.
The Will Smith movie. The one that was about like Scientology kind of. You know which one I'm talking about? It was like in
Which?
It was Will Smith, Jaden Smith. They were on a planet, and it was like literally about Dianetics.
Wait, that was M. Night Shyamalan?
That was M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't even know this movie.
It's called like not After Earth or
I think something After Earth.
I think it was After Earth.
In fact, it was funny because his career was already in the shitter so much at this time, they would not allow his name to be like directed by in big bold letters.
Yeah, I had no idea he did that.
Yeah. And that's because of a good reason. They made sure you didn't know that because they knew if his name was on it would have tanked. I think it was Jerry Bruckheimer's name on it. It's another big producer name who had it on it. But eventually, he did come back with Split. Split was interesting.
Was cool.
That was an interesting movie. I was like, okay, this.
You're whittling down your own hill right now.
You're whittling it down.
I'm not whittling down the hill so much.
It's like a mild lump.
No, because
he's a roadblock.
I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. Because he came out with The Visit. The Visit was kind of interesting until he gave it away halfway again. I'm not going to give it away because I don't know who's watched it, but he gives it away again.
I haven't.
And the thing is, he's so hit and miss, and I'm so mad that he still keeps getting money from people to keep making hit and miss. Like Adam Sandler, by definition, is kind of a better director because, like, yeah, he makes rom-coms for men. I don't know if you guys caught on to that. I don't know. Have you not caught on to this?
1,000% go fuck yourself.
Have you not caught on to this? He makes romantic comedies for men, and no one else does
funny.
it.
Like I respect Adam Sandler for a lot of reasons, but he's a Nicolas Cage character to me. Like he's sold out. 90% of his stuff is garbage. I don't like half of it.
All of his movies recently are because Adam Sandler wanted to go on vacation.
Netflix money is what.
Like literally, like the I don't know what recent one came out, but like for my job, I had a scan one where he was like in Italy or something, and it was with him and Jennifer Aniston, I think.
Oh yeah, I saw
that movie.
The murder mystery one.
Yeah, the murder mystery one, but it's
that
like all of his movies recently are because he wants to go on expensive all paid vacations while also shooting a movie. That's what Adam Sandler does.
He does.
I mean, that's not a bad con. Like I'd do that too if I were worth.
He does go. I didn't even think about that. He does go to Hawaii a lot, like a lot. He's gone.
Hey, Universal, I have this idea for a movie. Think
in Hawaii.
Yeah, no, I think he has such a good relationship with the state itself. I think he gets away with a lot of different things shooting in Hawaii. I think that's why he does it.
But we're not talking about Adam Sandler. I think you fucked up your own hill. I think
I'm dying on it.
Down the grass.
I am dying on it. I do not care.
You said like
I'll go
6 films
halfway
that were good.
up.
Yeah,
I'll go halfway up just because of the entire injustice to the movie that shall not be named about my favorite TV show ever.
Oh, right.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I know what you're talking about. Right. That was I don't know if that was
I'm
his
halfway
fault.
up that hill because of just that
What?
fuck up move of a movie.
But that's it. I don't think that was his
I
fault.
don't know
No.
what movie that
No,
is.
I
He
think
directed that shit.
I know he directed it, but I don't think it was
Can
a
you, like,
director
whisper
problem.
it?
Avatar. It's Avatar.
He did that?
Yeah, that's him.
The live
Oh
action
yeah,
movie.
no, I'll go on the hill now for sure. I wasn't on the hill, but now I'm on the hill because that movie was horrible. And Avatar's so good. I didn't know he did. God damn it.
Yeah,
Man.
no, he did
Yep.
Avatar
I'm at
last
least
time.
halfway up the hill.
No, and the thing is, that was a movie that was ruined specifically by producers. That was not.
Yeah, I do agree
was
with
not
that.
a-
I bet that
it was not a writing
I bet
pump-
The
not-
Room was horrible for that.
Yeah, they didn't understand weebs yet in that time.
They also
Yeah.
casted Aang as a white dude, and also Katara and Sokka as a white dude when they are so clearly very non-white, and it's just they're so
Yes,
very
the
non-white.
Scarlett
That,
Johansson.
everything about it was a mess.
The law of Scarlett Johansson is what it is. The Scarlett Johansson law, the ScarJo.
The whole the whole point, like all the Earth Kingdom people were on like an oil rig basically in the middle of the ocean to get away from the Earth, but then they were all scared of using Earth bending while in the middle of the Earth Kingdom, and it took like 12 people to have like tiny rock. And it was just
It was very stupid.
Okay, so
Everything.
we're already kind of going over time, so we're gonna bring it back in.
You go, Blake, if you want to go. You got a hill?
Hills.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
go.
I got a hill, and this is for all those Overwatch.
Is it about the
people
Beach
out there.
Boys?
No, it's not about the Beach Boys. This is Overwatch. Kill to death ratio matters. Gold medals matter. I don't
Oh,
care
no,
what
the
you say.
fuck they
If
don't.
I'm rocking
No, the
5
fuck
gold
they
medals, my
don't.
KD is 36-2, and you're complaining that I'm not doing anything.
You're-
Bro, you're the Genji going up
You're
against
d-
the
no.
Sit
You're
down, bro.
You're dying on a
No.
hill for participation medals. Fuck
But are
you.
you saying because there's people bitch because Overwatch is more of like a team game and that you can kill it, but people will still shit on you because the team didn't win? Is that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
but Overwatch is like it is the arena team game of all of
It is
them.
the arena team game, man. I'm sitting in the back as Junkrat just walking in there.
You're Junkrat? Oh,
All
you're a
these
Junkrat person.
Junkrat.
Junkrat
No, he's
sucks.
awesome. Fuck you, but he's awesome. I'll die on that hill.
Winston, Reinhardt, all the ones that you don't really have to aim, like those are the guys I play and I wreck. And by the way, I play it on PC and I'm using an Xbox controller and I still get first place with all my medals. Not gonna lie.
I don't want to play
Not
you in
gonna
any
lie.
first-person shooter. You sound to be gnarly.
Hey man, it's all those years of Halo under my belt. This stuff comes
Yeah.
easy, you know.
I know 2 things about you. You'll fuck me up in Halo, and you really like the Beach Boys. Like that is those are 2 facts I know. But yeah, no, I agree though. I like that. Like Overwatch is annoying sometimes because you can absolutely smash people and still lose. And it's like one of the only games that's like that.
Yep.
So yeah, I get that. That's an
Yep.
easy hill. That's an easy hill to die on for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
again,
I die there all the time.
I'm not gonna die on a participation trophy medal hill, but I will die on the hill where it's about if you're leading a good effort and no one gives a shit. Yeah, that sucks.
It's frustrating.
What about you, Zach? What do you got?
I hate armadillos.
What?
So I have had a
How dare you.
horrific fear of armadillos my whole life, and I think they are just a spat in the face of God. Have you looked at an armadillo? They are evil
They're
little tank
adorable.
monsters. They're fucking disgusting. First of all, get near one close. They're like half bug, half mutant fucking monsters. They're disgusting. They come in weird colors. They come in like pink, red, and green. They're covered in like weird hairy bristles. They sleep like 20 hours a day. They're garbage creatures that do nothing for the environment except cause fear and destroy your wheels. They're nasty little monsters, and I hate them.
Destroy your wheels? What are you doing with an armadillo in your car, bro?
They're literally called Texas road bumps, and they're also the state animal of Texas. But also, fuck Texas. Like, I hate armadillos so much. I don't like that they exist. They serve no purpose. They're like ticks.
Oh God.
Like, there's no need for them, and all they do is cause problems, and they're gross to
Oh
look. Can
my
you imagine touching one of them? They got these spiny, bristly things, and they're also kind of wet, even though they're very they're non-fatty creatures. They're like,
My stomach hurts.
I hate them. I hate them so much, and I've hated them for a long time, and I don't want to have anything to do with them.
I'm not gonna
You're
lie.
on that hill alone.
You're dying on that hill alone, but that was really
That's fine.
irritating.
As long as I die with all the Dillas. I pass
with all
on.
the pillows.
I didn't have to deal with them until I moved west. I moved to California, and now like I have to drive through the desert a lot doing all these fucking movie shoots. And I see armadillos, and it makes me crazy because they're little monsters, and I don't want to have to deal with them.
That gives me an idea for 2 hills I'm going to die on probably in the next 2 weeks, but we'll talk about that later. Right now, this is the end of the show, though. Thank you, Blake, for coming in and with your company and your weird knowledge of things that no one asked for.
That could be a different name for this show, though. Is weird knowledge of shit people don't need to know about. Like
that should just be the name of the show altogether.
That's what I'm saying. Like that is an alternative name for this show.
So, Blake, once
again.
Well,
thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, guys.
Blake, once again, where can we find you?
Website is www.blakerobertward.com. That can go right here. I don't know if you can do that, Sam. But
no, we're not doing that.
Okay.
All right. I'll put you in.
It'll be put you.
Yeah, it'll be. The links will be down below. We got you.
Links are down below, everyone.
They're down there. That'll do.
Down below.
Shannon.
And then Instagram, that's Blake Robert Ward, and YouTube, Blake Ward. Check
Cool.
it out. Woo.
Shannon, where can we find you in the world?
You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ShannyBees. All of my social media is on there. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
And Zach, where can we find you?
Once again, not a lot of places. I'm a cave druid. I'm on Instagram at zclap1, zklapp1. Hopefully you'll be seeing my TV series on YouTube or wherever it's released soon, Becoming Famous. I will have more about that when it is done editing, written and directed by myself. And that's about it. You can find me casting spells in my hole in the ground where I live.
Let's see. You can find me at SlammySammyLock on Twitter. You can find me at SlammySammyLock on the Instagram. You can find me at Steam Bunny Productions, where I do funny things sometimes. You can find me at Samuel Locke, where I do TikTok-y things sometimes. And of course, you can find Chuckle Sluts pretty much everywhere at this point. We're on the first page of Google. Can't miss us.
Google us.
Yes, Google us. We're on Spotify and Anchor and YouTube, where you can see us live, which is why we record things. Thank you again for watching.
Thank you, Blake. Thanks for coming on, man.
Again, thank you, Blake.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
And we'll see you next week with hopefully a brand new special guest and more funny, dumb things to talk about. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.